Hello, I'm Hazel Barron-Cooper, the Learning Officer at the Hatton Gallery, and I'm going to show you some simple techniques that you can use for illustration. There's some more ideas to help you with your illustration. This one I want to focus on altered texts and Dado poetry. So I want to show you this, which is it's called A Human, and it's by an artist called Tom Phillips. This is an extract from it. So back in the 1960s, Tom Phillips set himself the task of altering a novel, picking a novel from a bookshop and taking it and changing it. So he found an old book from the 19th century called A Human Document by W.H. Mallock, and what he did is he treated each sheet of text in this manner by delineating some of the words to make new text from the words. So it's to do again with randomness and chance, but selecting down so it becomes coherent. And then within that, once the text then makes sense in a different way, adding to it, drawing on it. Show you a few examples. This is one where he's created a mosaic-like quality to the page that beneath was just ordinary text, and has picked out certain words. Another one where part of the wording at the top he's picked out says, in that narrative passage he sat dejected, the man as photograph. So having picked out those words, he's then has included a photograph that's been torn here and collaged upon more at the bottom, written words and patterned all over the text. And this very complex one has got painting, the text picked out, and just this is page 5 of the Human Document, or as I said earlier, Tom Phillips called it a human because he picked out some of the letters from that text, the Human Document, and this was how it was done. He would just pick out words that would then go on to make another sense. So from this top line he's picked out in that cold, and then takes the line down to broken, and down to the word novel. So that's the starting point, and then there are many more that he then draws around, and the text then itself still makes sense, but within that he would, I won't do it exactly like this, but once that's broken down into areas broken down by the new text shapes, he then would colour around it. He's using ordinary coloured pencils. And I suppose what could be done with this is it could either be a way of creating illustration for your own poems, or it could be a way of in fact starting to make them, as well as coloured pencils. You can also use fabulous watercolour pencils. You'd have to buy them online at the moment, or nip into any art shops that may be open. So with the watercolour pencils, once you've applied colour in the same way as you would with an ordinary pencil, get this area on the side of the text. You can then add a little bit of water, my flamingo glass here, and it spreads just as watercolour would itself right along here. You can even take it further along and make it lighter this way. So that's, I know everyone wouldn't have these lying around, but colour pencils would do, but of course with the watercolour pencils you can add to it. So that could be as complex or as simple as you would like it to be. I think it's a human is an excellent thing to have a look at for some ideas. Something else you can do is to create your poem using text from magazines. So again, you can either write the poem first, then look for text to use as the illustration, so the text is illustration. So you could pick something like this, which is a company name, but then use the separate, cut out the letters to reassemble and make it your own word. I was drawn to something like this for the Darlington Hippodrome reopening after lockdown. Wish you were here. You might pick some of these letters out and create something. Obviously, if you've written your poem, you won't be able to find the particular word. So what you could do is, if you look for fonts and just write your words, like this. So I've just written the words fern, wild, cumulus and more, and this is an Art Decode 72 font. So if you do the font size quite large, I've done it lower and uppercase so I could see which ones I prefer. This is in lucid black letter. So once you've selected your words and the font size, you tear them out. I've torn them out in readiness here, and you can place them on the sheet. I've got fern, wild, cumulus, more, like that. And I'll stick them down. And again, with these you can colour the words, you can use coloured pencil, you can paint them. This process might even be a way of helping you to almost automatically write a poem in the almost a Dada-like fashion of choosing words and then seeing how they might form together. Cumulus almost looks like a cloud-like shape I've torn out there. And you can try different fonts that seem to be more appropriate for what you're trying to convey. And there, that would be the actual. So the poem could be an actual text piece like this. You could illustrate further by having, collaging images around the edges or changing it some way, or it could just be standalone like this.